The night I found the second phone, my wife was asleep right next to me. Her hand was resting on my chest, the way it always was. And I lay there in the dark, listening to the rain on the window, thinking one very calm thought. She has no idea that I already know, and she has no idea what that's going to cost her. Let me be honest with you before I tell you the rest. I'm not a dramatic man. I don't yell. I don't break things. I'm an accountant. I spend my days finding the one number that doesn't belong, the small mistake everyone else missed. It's the only real skill I have. It turned out to be the only skill I needed. Her name was Claire. We'd been married 7 years, and for 6 of them, I would have told you we were happy. The 7th year is the one this story is about. It started with small things, the kind of things you talk yourself out of noticing. She joined a gym and started going at strange hours. She began taking her phone into the bathroom. She'd laugh at messages she would never show me. None of it meant anything on its own. But I deal in patterns for a living, and the pattern was getting louder. The second phone was the number that didn't belong. I found it by accident, charging it behind the dresser. A cheap little thing she thought was hidden. And I didn't touch it that night. I just lay back down, put her hand back on my chest, and listened to the rain. Because here's the thing most people get wrong about a moment like that. The mistake is to react. The second you react, you give away the only thing you have. The fact that they don't know you know. So I said nothing. I smiled in the morning. I made her coffee. And I started doing the thing I do best. I started watching. And what I found over the next 3 weeks was worse than an affair. Much worse. But I'll get to that. The man was her boss. A married man named Daniel who ran her department. I learned his name the way I learn everything. Patiently, from the edges. A reflection in a photo. A hotel reservation she'd paid for under his name. The same hotel. Every other Thursday. The exact nights she told me she was working late on the quarterly review. I knew the room number before I even knew what I was going to do about it. And I'll admit it. For about a week, I wanted to do the loud thing. I wanted to walk into that hotel. I wanted to call his wife. I wanted to scream until something finally broke. But I didn't. Because I'd started noticing the second pattern. And the second pattern is what changed everything. Claire was moving money. Small amounts at first. A few hundred here, transferred to an account I'd never seen. Then larger ones. A credit card she'd opened in only her name. Our most valuable things, quietly appraised. And then one night, while she was in the shower, I saw an email she'd forgotten to close. It was from a divorce attorney. The subject line was 3 words. Protecting your assets. She wasn't just cheating on me. She was planning to leave, and planning to take everything when she did. The house. The savings. She wanted me to find out about the affair only after the papers were filed. After the money was already gone. When I was too shocked and too late to do anything but sign. She thought she was 3 steps ahead of me. So I did the only thing that made sense. I let her keep thinking that. I didn't confront her. I didn't move a single dollar in a way she might notice. Instead, the next morning, I went to see an attorney of my own. A very good one. I brought everything. The bank records, the appraisals, the reservations, the dates. All of it documented, calm, organized, the way I organize everything. And she looked it over and said something I'll never forget. She said, You don't have a problem. You have a position. Here's what most people never understand about quiet revenge. The best revenge isn't something you do to someone. It's something you let them do to themselves, once you've quietly stepped out of the way. So I built my position, and I waited. I kept making the coffee. I kept being the husband who suspected nothing. And every Thursday, when she came home late, I'd ask how the quarterly review was going. And she'd sigh and say, "Exhausting." And I'd nod. But I'd made one move she didn't know about. The one move that had nothing to do with money at all. Daniel, her boss, worked for a company with a very strict policy. A manager could not be in a relationship with someone who reported to him. It was grounds for termination. For him, not for her. For him. And I happened to know, because patterns are patterns, that his own performance review was coming up. The one where his bosses would be looking very closely at his department. I didn't lie to anyone. I didn't invent a single thing. I simply made sure that the truth, every verifiable, documented fact, reached the one person who was professionally obligated to act on it. Quietly, cleanly, just the truth, delivered to the right desk at exactly the right time. And then I sat back and let the dominoes fall in the order they were always going to fall. Daniel was gone within 2 weeks, and here's the part I could never have planned. The part where justice did its own work. The moment his job was on the line, Daniel did exactly what men like Daniel always do. He saved himself. He told them it had been a one-time mistake. He said Claire had pursued him. He threw her under the bus so fast she never even heard the engine. So now, Claire had no lover. He was gone. And on his way out, he'd made her the villain. Her name at work was finished. She still had no idea that I knew anything at all. Which is why, the night she finally sat me down at the kitchen table, slid the divorce papers across to me, and braced herself for my shock. I wasn't shocked. I read them, slowly, and then I slid a folder of my own across the table. My documentation, my attorney's name, every transfer she'd hidden, every secret account, every dated night at that hotel. I watched her understand it in real time. The money she'd buried. The court would see it for exactly what it was. The affair, documented. The whole story she thought she controlled. Gone. She didn't get the house. She didn't get the savings. She left with what she'd brought into the marriage, which was the only thing she was ever truly owed. The man she'd risked everything for was already gone. The career she'd built was ash. And I, the quiet husband who never yelled, never cheated, never broke a single law, I walked away with my home, my savings, and the one thing she could never touch. The fact that I never once lowered myself to her level. People ask me if I feel guilty. I don't. I didn't ruin her life. I just stopped protecting her from the consequences of her own choices. For 7 years, I'd been the safety net under everything she did. And the night I found that second phone, I made exactly one decision. I stepped out of the way, and I let her fall exactly as far as she'd built the height. It's raining tonight too. Same window. And if there's one thing I learned, it's this. The loudest revenge is almost always the weakest. Because the person screaming has already lost control. But the quiet ones, the patient ones, the ones who smile and make the coffee and watch the patterns, those are the ones you should never, ever underestimate. She thought she was 3 steps ahead. She never counted mine.